Okay, I thought I'd make a separate video about this. We're kind of coming into Covington, slowing down a little bit here. I get asked quite often, what kind of oil do you use and why? Wars have been fought over what kind of oil people use. People, they love their brand, they love their type, they hate another type. Synthetic is the savior of all engines. Synthetic is the evil scourge of the earth. Yeah, really, just make sure you're using a quality motorcycle oil, not a car engine oil. A motorcycle oil has additives in it that, buffer the impact is really important for these older engines too. And they're designed for the higher heat. They're designed for some of the higher impact applications. Just make sure you have a quality motorcycle oil to go in the bike. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Now for me, I see no reason not to put the best oil that I can afford in. I did my research. I understand what synthetic oil is. It's not what people think usually. It's not like a man-made substance that's derived out of, unobtainium. It's just regular old dyno oil that's been refined and cultured or controlled in such a way that all of the molecules are pretty much the same. Synthetic does not mean man-made in this case. It means that it doesn't occur naturally in the refining process of oil. They had to take extra steps to make it exactly like it is. You can look all that up. Hate me, leave comments, whatever, I don't care. But go look it up. So I chose Valvoline 4T synthetic motorcycle oil. I found it as cheap as $6.50 a quart and as expensive as $12 a quart. I typically pay somewhere around $8 to $8.50 a quart for it, and that's what I use. I change at the prescribed intervals. I do change my engine oil every 5,000 kilometers on this rig, not 2,500, because I did upgrade to the spin-on filter kit. And I don't use that little filter that goes up inside from the bottom anymore. I stopped using that when I took one out, and it had pretty much just come apart. And I found out those filters are good for stopping, small children and squirrels from being sucked into the engine. But you change it often because the filters tend to come apart, in my experience. So the spin-on is a much better filter, and I get very little swarf on the plug when I change the oil, and I know that filter is doing its job filtering the oil for me, so I have no problem with 5,000 kilometer intervals now, which is what the newer rigs use. But I also use that same oil in the transmission, 20W50, by the way. I use it in the transmission. It's what Ural calls for. It does the job. And I've not had any issues with it. Now, if you think that synthetic oil makes engines leak, all I can tell you is it makes engines that have a leak worse. I admit it, they do. That's because synthetic oils clean very well. And my wife's rig, 2010 Patrol, when we got it, it was leaking oil. Not horribly bad, and the first oil I put in it was what I had on the shelf. It wasn't synthetic. We ran it a while, got it hot, ran it around the house. When I changed it over to synthetic oil, we were dropping oil twice as fast within about the first 500 kilometers. And I actually changed the oil on that rig after 1,000 kilometers, and it was just filthy oil. And changing it, I could see the dirt in it, so yeah, it made hers leak worse, but that's because it already had a leak. And if you happen to have a leak that's gummed up because trash is plugging it up, it'll probably clean all that gunk out and start a leak. So, it's never been my experience, and I've talked to a lot of manufacturers about oil when I was dealing with my F350, because I wanted to make sure I took care of it. That's where I did most of my synthetic oil research, was years ago when I was dealing with my F350. And it was explained to me, I understood what it was, because at the time, I got a $45,000 investment. I want to make sure that I'm taking care of my F350. That's 16 years ago. And that truck is still going strong. I understand what the oil did for it and how it worked, and it never leaked. But also per manufacturer recommendation, I didn't change that truck to synthetic oil until it had 20,000 miles on it. I was told that it reduced the friction so much that any seating that might occur during the first 20,000 miles would essentially take longer. So I did follow that and put regular conventional oil in it the first 20,000, and it's still going strong too. But that's the oil that I use, and that's why I use it. I encourage you to do your own research. Don't listen to me. I'm not an oil expert, and I'm not an engine expert. So you have to kind of figure it out on your own. But if you're asking me, that's what I do. So if you like these videos, go ahead and like and subscribe so that I'll know that you like something about them. I can't imagine what. But I'll be happy to do more videos and post them up for you.